Ladies and gentlemen, you might have seen a commercial by Ron Reagan Jr., and he is saying that he's not afraid of hell. He really isn't afraid of hell. He's an atheist that's not afraid of hell. Have you ever noticed atheists will say, I'm an atheist and I'm not afraid of hell? That kind of tells you that they're pretty much afraid of hell. Um, it's like I'll be talking to an atheist and they'll just bring up hell. They're like terrified about it. But you know, another thing that atheists get wrong is they'll dishonestly claim that the founders were secular or atheist when all of the founders were theist. The majority were Christians, and there was like a few deists in the bunch. And deists are theists. Deism is a type of theism. But listen to this.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, an unabashed atheist.
That's nothing to be proud about. Yes, atheism, the worldview with the highest suicide rate in the world, the worldview that lacks proof and evidence for its claims. You know, folks, I contacted Ron Reagan Jr. by email. Do you know when we challenged him with the Shock of God challenge, he responded that he lacks a belief in God. He's not claiming that God doesn't exist. Don't you agree that's a limp wristed response? That is the lamest response ever. Why would someone become an atheist just because someone like Ron Reagan Jr. Says, what is it? We have Ron Reagan Jr.'s father calling from heaven? Okay, let's put him on. Go ahead, Mr. Reagan. What would you like to say to your son?
Well, well, Ron, I'm very disappointed in you. I think you're full of crapola.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Okay, so there you have it. Even Ronaldo Magnus agrees. But let's continue with this limp-wristed commercial.
And I'm alarmed by the intrusions of religion into our secular government.
Secular? What the heck happened to him? Secular government? Oh, Ron Reagan Jr. I got this, Mr. President Reagan in heaven. Let me educate Ron Reagan Jr. So, Ron Reagan Jr., you've already failed the Shock of God challenge by failing to provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. And now you're failing history because our government is not secular and the founders were not secular. You are what's called a liar. But then again, we know you promote socialism and liberalism, and we know that socialists are thieves and liberals are liars. So let me educate Ron Reagan Jr. as a conservative Christian. Listen to the words of the Declaration of Independence. Let's see if the founders talk about God, shall we? When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another. Listen close, Ronnie Reagan Jr., and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature, here it is, Ron Reagan Jr., and of nature's God, see that? Entitle them. Does that seem atheistic to you? No. Ron Reagan Jr., you are a liar. Let us continue with the truth of the Declaration of Independence. Does he think that no one's going to, point out his lie? This is not a secular government. The founders were not secular. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men just evolved from nothing. Wait a minute. Don't get your hopes up, atheist. I was teasing you. Look what it says here. That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator. This is a very godlike, this is a very theistic document. This is just not something an atheist would write. Notice, with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life. You know, that means that abortion's wrong. But then again, Ronnie Jr., you're on the wrong side of America with that issue also. Yes, the Democrat Party, ladies and gentlemen, has never met a baby they didn't want to kill in the womb. And if you're going to kill a baby in the womb and support that, what evil won't you do? You may even go on national TV and lie to the American people and say that the founders were secular and wanted a secular government. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know there is no way that you can find in any of the founding documents, and nowhere you can find in any of the founding documents, the phrase, there shall be a separation of church and state. That was a letter that Thomas Jefferson had written to a person that was, wait for it, a theist, someone that believed in God and admitted the truth that God existed. And he was worried that the government would be hostile to people that are normal, people that believe in God. And Jefferson comforted the gentleman and said no, and he talked about how there's a separation where the government cannot intrude. Listen, the government is not to intrude on religion. This is why the cake maker that was a Christian didn't have to make the gay cake. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, atheism is a limp-wristed worldview. Now, do you know that the founders signed these wonderful documents? Wait for it. Down at the bottom, you'll notice it says, in the year of our Lord, referring to, you guessed it, the Son of God, Jesus Christ.